and welcome to all of you guys who are tuning into the live. My name is Dylan. We're here with Barrett with Porterkeeper and also Espresso Outlet. So today we are going to be taking a closer live look at the BEANSEEKER, which is now available on Kickstarter. So if you haven't had a chance to go take a look at it, you can watch it today. And you can also go support us on Kickstarter as well. There are a couple early bird available right now. So if you guys want to go check that out, we'll post a link in the description once the video is completed. So I actually have a white and a black one back here, which I will show you after Barrett. One of them is brewing right now. It should be completed here within the next couple minutes. And then Barrett's going to show you the process and how easy it is to get one going. And you'll see the end result on my screen after. So Barrett, if you want to take it away, give it a little explanation.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to show it. I've been doing a couple lives and just a couple of videos in general with the BEANSEEKER recently. It's a newer thing for Espresso Outlet. I've seen a couple people post, like, I just don't quite get it yet. It's one of those things that I really feel is one of those aficionado type things. It is just very high clarity. So you get these just extremely nice, clean extractions where when you're using something like a toddy, I have a toddy off to the side over here. It's kind of a muddy extraction. So in my opinion, you gain quite a bit by this, but it's one of those things that I feel like you have to experience in person to really appreciate. So we want to show you how easy it is. A lot of people are like, man, it's so easy to do a toddy. I'm like, I'm telling you, I've done a toddy, and I think this is even easier. So we're going to get it going. I have two grinders in front of us. I'm actually going to use this. It's the DM47 today. And it's just because I've actually enjoyed the conical grinder with this quite a bit. I've also been using the CF64 Gen 2 on about 70, 35, or 40. It's been absolutely fantastic. So we're just going to get it set up. We're going to show you how fast we can do this. Let me flip it around. Okay. So this is pretty much one full turn. So essentially setting 100 on the DM47. Make sure you can see it real good. It's really kind of sleek new grinder. And I have 25 grams of beans pre-weighed. We're going to throw them in. Really nice slow RPM on this grinder.
It definitely sounds a lot louder on audio than it actually is in person, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's really not that loud. It does have this little knocker. You can use your bellow. It really didn't push out that much more. It has a little sweep on the inside as well. So when it comes over to the BEANSEEKER, we have our V60 style funnel. And it comes with these 01 size Kaleido filters. And they've been a really nice premium filter. They're kind of a cloth filter.
There's a lot of different filters that you can use as well. So it comes with like that V60 style. If you're more into a flat dripper, like the April brewer, or let's say you want to use the Stag X, or you want to use any brewer that you may have at home. Many brewers actually fit in that slot. And I would definitely, I would encourage you all to just try them all out, because I've tried a lot out and I'm very impressed with a lot of different drippers in there.
I don't know if you're having like really bad echo on your end, but I do.
Not on my end. Might be from talking in my room.
So we just threw them in there, and we've been putting a paper on top. It actually comes with these papers. It's essentially an AeroPress paper. And what that does is as the slow droplets hit the top, it actually disperses nice and evenly across the whole top of the bed of ground. So, I mean, it took longer to grind than it took to prep the V60 funnel. Now, this does use a little hose off the back to feed the water. And I just have a bottle of water. That's typically what I use. I know a lot of people, they like the Yeti style cups or similar. I mean, some of the off brand are really nice. They look really nice. You just drop it in. Everyone is going to have like a little bit different settings. Let's see.
So right now, mine's almost nearing completion. So I went with there's a lot of different recipes that you can do. But what I did was I went with a coarser grind. So what I did was I have the extraction end volume at 250. My flow rate I actually put down to 200 because I am using a coarser grind. Still going at 0 degrees Celsius. And the final weight, like I said, is about 250, which we're nearing here in about an extra 5 grams or so. So while that completes, I'll let Barrett kind of talk about what he's going to do with this recipe.
Yeah, so you got it on 250 and 200. That's pretty much where I'm at as well. And that's the extraction that I've liked. It is not like an espresso grind, but it's not quite a V60 grind. At least what I've been using most. So when you put the carafe in, you can see it's weighing out the carafe at about 204 grams. It's really important to click 0. And if you want to check, you can click the minus sign. It'll tell you what it's set on. So I had it set up the other day for a video. We'll set it on like 1.5 degrees Celsius. It's really as simple as just click and start, and it's going to start going. So off to the side, let's see if we can see it. It's actually going to run a little bit fast, and the reason why it runs fast to begin with is to pre-wet all the grounds. So if it wasn't running a little bit fast, I know in the instructions, the paper instructions, they actually mention pouring a little bit of water over the top. And we've actually put programming into it to run fast to pre-wet those grounds now.
So here, mine's about to be done here any second. You'll hear it beep here. So here we go. It goes a beep. You can actually turn that beep off. I actually have my lights off too as well. But it'll just beep a couple times if you like it, which I do. And it tells you extraction complete. So you can just go back and return. One thing to note, which is super important, is whenever you finish a brew and you want to start again, and after you empty out that V60 style brewer, once you put the carafe back in there and you're all ready and set to go, you have everything programmed, make sure you zero out the scale before you go so it automatically reboots and you get a perfect extraction pretty much every time
Yeah.
with that scale and that brew. So once
All
that
right, put it back around. So it's done now, right?
Yep, so it's done now.
So I guess just going into this, explain. That's like some other things I've been seeing. I've been seeing people say I can go buy a toddy for $50. Like really explain what's different with ice strip. And I've tried to do it as one of those teaching moments, but it's such a new product. It is a little bit more than maybe what a lot of people think it might be worth, just because they can do like a pretty cheap toddy, 50 to 100 bucks, and get their cold brew. This is really not cold brew. This is actually an ice strip. So just explain to me, like, what do you think is different on this?
So, just in terms of prep work, I would say the biggest difference that you see with the ice dripper here, the Bean Seeker, is the simple fact that whenever you do cold brew, you have to steep the coffee for 18 to 24 hours, which takes quite a bit of time. And honestly, you don't really get great results if you do cold brew unless you do at least a bare minimum of a pound of coffee up to 5 pounds, which is the most common. So the cool thing and the unique thing about the Bean Seeker is the fact that you can actually brew like we've been doing one single cup of 20 grams, which is nice. And you can do more variability as well with different coffees as you kind of explore the different tastes that you get out of each bean. So the cool thing is once it's done, So you can go as much as you would like. It comes with this really cool V60 kind of style carafe. Um, and then just to kind of see the colors that you get from it. So the nice thing about this coffee is it really just gives you a super clean, clear, crisp of the tasting notes. So one thing that I have loved about this, before I go and give the tasting notes that I've gotten, I mean, it's super simple to use, and it's literally as easy as one, your bag of coffee, so the coffee you so choose. Two, getting that filter. They come with the unit as well. And then you can use any filter with any brewer that you may have as long as it fits underneath. And then with the included, like he said, the AeroPress style papers. And then brew. You hit the buttons and you're good to go. So like I said, it's literally as easy as one, two, three, and you get this really nice, clean end cup of coffee. So the tasting notes on this one, at least with the coffee that I'm using, is milk chocolate, caramel, and tangerine. I have run this at a kind of like espresso grind. I've run it at a V60 grind. Something that I really came to enjoy, especially with grinding with this coffee or brewing with this coffee, is the fact that if you go a little bit coarser and you lower that flow rate, I feel like you get a really nice, just clean taste of like this nutty kind of caramely noted coffee. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try here. So the nice thing about this coffee is it's almost like you're drinking tea, like a cold tea almost. Like it doesn't. I don't know about your
Yeah.
experience, Barrett, but I'm not really getting like when you brew a pour over. Someone says, "Well, what's the difference if you brew a pour over and then you put it over ice?" Right? Well, the problem with that is, and the reason why the ice dripper is a bit different is because you're extracting that coffee with hot water when you're doing a pour over. And what happens is it extracts a little bit differently. And when you
Yeah.
pour that hot pour over a thing of ice, that ice is really going to dilute that extraction of the pour over, which is going to give it a different tasting profile than this ice dripper, because the ice dripper start from finish is cold. So it's extracting the bed of coffee grinds and cold dripping water, which is actually going to give it just a nice, cleaner, crisp taste that I prefer. So it is different than just brewing pour over and putting it over ice for that simple reason. If you have anything to add on that, Barrett.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I've had like geishas and stuff, I find it weird because it's not quite tea, but it's not quite coffee. So these really nice, expensive geishas that I drink from time to time when I get lucky enough to get one, they're just kind of like a delicacy of their own. And I feel like you get a lot of that. It's not quite tea, but it's not quite coffee. You get that very high clarity. So it's kind of like a tea like in consistency, but it's still coffee. You're not just drinking tea. And I think that's what makes the ice drip so unique, and really how you are just getting kind of the sludge off of the coffee grounds with like an immersion brew.
Yeah,
So whenever I've had immersion brew, I never put syrup in my coffee. And I never put sugar in my coffee. And usually, what I like to do is probably throw like a sugar cube in and a little bit of almond milk, because I prefer the almond milk over just like traditional milk. And really, that's about the only way that I find it even palatable to have a cold brew. If I was just drinking black, even diluted concentrate, it's kind of bitter. So whenever I've drank this, I have tried it with milk. I mean, we've done a lot of experimentation with this, but whenever I've drank it, I really like it black, and I really like it without ice. I don't really like it diluted much. You could do it more of a concentrate, but yeah. I mean, I'm drinking it black, so I think that's what makes it so unique, and just I love it. I really do. I mean, it's kind of my new thing to brew.
yeah. So I've also I know a lot of people are still stuck on that. Oh, well, it tastes like a pour over. So what I actually did was, because we've had these for a little bit to experiment with. I actually had a couple friends over and a couple neighbors over that are really big into coffee, and I gave them just two of these. I have two of these, and I did one with a pour over and one with this. And then I put it over ice, stirred it up to where it was just as cold as the ice dripper, BeanSeeker coffee. And they all, besides one, obviously everybody has different taste preferences. I would say I did about 7 people, and one out of the 7 people preferred the pour over with ice, and the other preferred this. So they clarified it as a more clean taste to the coffee tasting experience. So, and I
Yeah.
totally agree. And I mean, based off of what you've said, what other people who have shared their experiences with the Bean Seeker have said, they've all pretty much shared the same experience.
Yeah, it's pretty much the exact same thing. The couple people that I've had stop by, he's I had one of my good friends come, then I had a guy just come check out some of the equipment that we sell. And I didn't even tell them. They didn't even know it existed. This is before we even like kicked off the Kickstarter. And they both said the exact same thing. I said, "Hey, before you leave, let me pour you something." Pour them a cup. They don't know anything about it. They see me pull it out of the fridge, and I had it pre-brewed, and they're like, they're kind of like confused, almost in shock by it because they don't know what to expect, and they take that first sip, and they're like, "This is a lot different. Like it's not good." Um, I'd say it's not good. It's not. I don't even know how I'd say. They just have like this like perplexed look on their face. Like I don't understand. There's no sugar in this. There's no milk in this. It's just weird. Like why is it so clean? Why is it so crisp? And as they left, they were asking some questions about it. I showed them the machine, obviously. And within the days following, they're like, "Hey, I want to bring some beans by. Hey, I want to try that again. Hey, like I haven't really been able to stop thinking about that coffee that you made. It's like it's that different and it's
So
that good. It's so clean and crisp. It's
so
so
it's
good."
crazy because anybody who knows me, I started a channel about 3 years ago, and it was like a funny thing to always have my wife try my shots of espresso, try my milk beverages without any kind of sugar or anything in it besides milk and espresso,
Yeah.
and then also like americanos. And every single time her face ended up like this.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny. So I was like, "Hey, honey, come here really quick. I want you to try this." And this is when I first got it. So when I first tried it, I was like, "Wow, that's pretty good." So I was like, I wonder if my wife would enjoy it." So I was like, "Here, honey, try this." She goes, "Ew, no, it's black coffee." And I go, "Just try it.
Yeah,
Sit
for
down and
sure.
try it." So she went to go try it, and she was like, "I mean, it's not bad." And I go,
Yeah.
"You're not saying it's terrible." And she goes, "I mean, it's not like the greatest thing ever because I don't like black coffee, but like I can drink
Yeah.
it." So I
Yeah.
left her with the rest of it and she drank it all. I was like, "All right, that works." So she doesn't even like black coffee and she still finished it. So
Exactly. That's how these people were. They're like their gears were turning in their head like this isn't my norm. Like I normally have all this crap that I would put into it. And they're like, I kind of think I like it like more than what I should. I wasn't really expecting this. It was like a very odd and perplexed look that they both had on their face. And I mean, I think it's fantastic. I'm not a huge cold brew fan. I do the toddy a couple times a year. Um, I use the reusable stuff. The way I cheat is I usually get my kettle out and I get the kettle boiling and I throw a bag in. It's like a reusable bag and there's these like felt filters and I boil them for a few minutes. Dump the water because it has all the kind of gross old residue from the bag. And then you got this wet bag. And I have my ditty and I don't have it here, it's at my house. And I want to clip that bag onto the ditty, and we got this wet bag, so it's like now I almost need to sanitize it like a day in advance or use disposable bags. And I'm like, dude, this is such a hell of a mess. Like doing this cold brew. I mean, if I was at a coffee shop and I had 20 of these things in a row, and I could just mess, and boil them all at once, and that's what I did every day. That's one thing, but for me, I thought it was a pain in the butt. Where when I get this out, I'm like, it's just as easy. It's almost easier than even just brewing a traditional V60 because all I'm really doing is prepping it and click and go, walking away. Where the V60, it's like, man, I gotta do my kettle, got a scale, got all this stuff. This could take 3 minutes to brew V60. This takes less than a minute. So that's why I've actually ended up using it far more than what I expected. I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, how is it different than the immersion? Okay, that made it very clear right away. And then it's like this thing is so easy to use. Like there's no point in not using it.
And it's crazy because when we first got these at our house and we were brewing them, I was like, man, this is really good. Like I was super
Yeah.
impressed. Well, when I was brewing it, you have to wait a little bit for a cup, and I
Yeah.
would go to drink it. Like I found myself drinking like maybe 2 cups a day, so I do 2 rounds of them. And then I got sent 2 of them, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, I need to stop drinking. So I actually took like a week off because I kept brewing them at the same time, and I was ended up drinking about 4 of these.
Both of them.
And I take pre-workout in the morning to go to the gym, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to stop. So I actually cut it off for like a week because I was drinking way too much of it.
And I really feel like they do pack quite a bit of caffeine. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, because I
More
rolled
than
these
what I
every
was
day.
expecting.
Yeah.
Doesn't really affect me much. Like I can throw back the espresso shot, but I'll have one of these and I can feel it. And I usually don't drink this till after lunch, but it definitely is caffeinated. That's for dang sure.
So before we end it here, really quick in the background, what was that thing blinking in the background that you had
Oh
there?
geez. Joe hates my stoplight. He doesn't think it's cool.
I had to, Joe. I'm
You see
sorry.
that? I know. Hopefully Joe sees it. Look at this. Who has a full size stoplight?
I
I
hope
have all my toys here.
I hope
So
if
I
Joe's
like my
watching
shop.
this, I hope if Joe's watching this that he comments in the comment section that he likes the stoplight.
I have all sorts of stuff. My airplane and an airplane winglet. So I like my eccentric.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, yeah, I mean, so how long do you say that that it typically takes to brew with the grind size that you do or the extraction, just so people at home who are considering the machine, how long do you say it takes?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say on the settings that we're using today, it's an hour. It's about an hour. You can probably choke it down to 40, 45 minutes. We're trying to get that nice, deep, complex extraction out of it. So going super fast is not going to taste that good. Actually, when I did run it, I just tried to run it just very fast to see how it'd be. And it's kind of like flash brewed. It's not very good. It's not necessarily acidic. It's definitely under extracted. You don't have that like very nice rich extraction. So I would say plan on an hour. Some people they've kind of been like, man, I can do an extraction, blah blah. Really, the way that I use this is, or like an immersion cold brew. Man, I can go brew like 5 gallons. Okay, that's cool. The way I use this is I like to actually do mine the night before, and I throw the craft in the fridge, and then that way I have no ice in it, and it's just like a very nice rich extraction. As soon as I get done brewing one, I typically brew another one immediately and throw it in the fridge. So I always have a nice fresh brew that is usually not more than a day old, and I actually find it to taste even better after it's sat for 12 hours or whatever. So I'll usually do it the night before, drink it the next morning.
Really quick, did you see Joe's comment? He said the stoplight is just weird.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
Joe, unanimous. All my friends want one. They do. I'm not even lying. I sent them the picture and they're like, I want one. Like, where did you get this?
I knew he'd find interest in it.
Yeah.
Well,
There's no
there's
bees
5 people
flying out of
watching.
it. If
There's
it was a
5 people watching
beehive, it'd
right
be
now.
cool.
If you guys can just help the video out and make sure to hit that like button, it really helps our channel and for this product to be seen a little bit more. And then also, if you've liked the product, let us know down in the comment section below what you thought it was, and what you think about it now. And is this something that you would possibly want in your house? and why. So, I mean, I've been using it. What would you say, about a couple months now? We've been using
Yeah,
mine.
we've been using it for quite a while. I'm gonna grab it. I don't want to break it.
Someone said, can't wait to get mine. Have you found a certain darkness of bean to be better? So, I mean, I can speak on my behalf, Barrett. You can speak on yours. Um, for me, I like a lighter to medium roast. I'm not a fan. I've tried darker roasted coffee. I'm not a fan of dark roasted coffee anyway. But I just feel like with the lighter and medium roasted coffee, especially the pour over coffees that have generally on espresso a little bit higher acidity, I found to be less pronounced in acidity and just cleaner cup. So you really get those extra floral notes, the tangerine, something that, like I said, normally with espresso that would be like, oh man, that's a little bright.
Yeah, for
Really
sure.
shines a lot better with the Bean Seeker, and yeah, that's the first rendition of the Bean Seeker.
Yeah, I've brought this up in some other videos. So we've worked with the manufacturer for quite a while. We've actually received several before this final iteration, and we've actually even done upgrades that you can't see to this one, and it's mostly with the programming. But you can see, like, some of the earlier ones, the screen is actually on top. It's taller, so it doesn't fit under your counters. We said it's really important that it fits under counters. We put a lot of investment into just making it the most usable for whoever's buying it. And you can see off to the side, we have this quick mail Alex. Or not quick mail, Izzo. And you can see it's about the same height. And that's just because all these manufacturers are trying to make it so that it fits under an 18-inch countertop. But going back to the question on just bean style, I really don't like dark. I feel like the dark is going to bring out just a lot of the bitterness that I don't like anyway in coffee.
Like that smoky
I've
taste too.
Yeah, is this so gross? I've taken some really like burn up trash beans and done like an immersion cold brew, and it tastes okay. But yet again, we're going back to I'm throwing sugar in it, I'm throwing milk in it, I'm throwing ice in it, and watering it down. And even after all that, you're taking trash and you're making it like barely drinkable. And the only reason why I'd even do immersion cold brew is to get rid of old beans. I'd be like, these beans are 3 months old. I'm not going to brew them hot. I'm not going to brew them as espresso for sure. I'm going to make a batch of cold brew and give it out to my friends. And that's how I get rid of my old beans. I mean, I'm using very fresh beans, medium to light, preferably. I actually had some fermented beans that I bought the other day, and I've tried them as like a V60, just regular drip machine, espresso, and the bean seeker. And all four methods have just been absolutely amazing, like dark chocolate, rich raspberry. And the bean seeker, I was a little bit surprised. I feel like the setting that I normally use for like a wash bean, like I have over here, I have these Mexican chapas behind me. What I would use on that, I felt like is maybe a little bit over extracted just because those fermented beans are absolutely maximum richness. So I would probably actually speed that up just a little bit next time, or maybe add a little bit more water. But it was fantastic. And the guy that I had try it, he was like, "That is like out of this world. Like I've never had anything like this in my life." So I really like the medium, pretty much anything that I would have for a really nice espresso. So from medium to very light, I've been running this. I probably wouldn't go super light because you're probably going to get a little bit more of that astringency, which it can be okay in espresso because you are doing a higher extraction yield. But I'd say that medium range is perfect, personally.
You know what I kind of want to try with this that I haven't tried yet, and I think it'd be really good. But you're probably gonna look at me like I'm nuts. I think that putting some cold, like a little bit of cold foam on top of like a cup of this would be
It could be
really
good. It could be good. And
because it
like
would get.
even just like this Mexican chapas is definitely like this extremely rich chocolate. And that's why a lot of people like it. They love those real chocolatey beans. They like it for espresso. They like it for pour over. These are actually natural fermented chocolates. So, I mean, they are fantastic. And normally I wouldn't put milk on the cold brew, but even just like the smallest splash of milk on these beans, I'm not gonna say it makes it better. It just makes it a different experience that I've really loved. I don't use a whole lot of milk. With more of the fruity beans, I usually just drink black, and I usually drink everything black. But just a little bit of milk on these beans is amazing, absolutely amazing. So like a cold foam, I could see that being really good. Or even, I don't really like the sugars, but I guess you could do some sort of like a liqueur or something in it. I saw the what's his name, Jock.
Yep.
He was talking about like a liqueur or something would just absolutely make this the next level like after dinner drink. It's light, kind of a cocktail, but not. It's it's very clean and amazing.
So before we end this live, there's 6 people on. If you guys have any questions before we end this live, feel free to ask them now while we're here. We will answer any questions that come up. We'll give it about another couple minutes here for any of you guys that have questions on it. If you're just not sure on it and you need us to clarify something, we would love to do that live here. And then after this video is posted, we will monitor the video as well, and we will answer your questions. If you have any questions, that's right there. That Barrett's showing is the new DM47. And then you also have the Gen 2 DF64. So both are great grinders. The Gen 2 does a really good job at both pour over and espresso. And it has a really nice, sleek, clean design to it. It's got a plasma generator, which is pretty much makes it really anti-static, which is going to just leave your countertop cleaner. The DM47 is nice. It's a nice, sleek, really small footprinted design. I wouldn't go so much as saying that is an espresso grinder. I would use it mainly as your pour over grinder, if not solely as your pour over grinder. But the cool thing about that grinder is it is small footprinted. It's got a sweeper in the inside to keep the beans moving, and then you can also it comes with an adapter to actually keep it to where you can brew it with a car cigarette port or whatever you want to call that, 12
Yeah,
volt, which is really neat as well. So just a nice, easy hookup right there.
this thing is
So
beefy. Like it looks kind of skinny and thin. This thing weighs a lot. I was really impressed when I got it. It's definitely a nice size for your countertop. And like here, I have it kind of as a companion grinder. So like Dylan mentioned, like for a brew, I mean, side by side, this really didn't take up much room at all.
yeah, I mean it's like a fifth of the size of the Gen 2.
Yeah,
And honestly, people ask questions recently, like, what's the best grinder to go along with the new Bean Seeker? And my honest opinion, if you're just doing the Bean Seeker and that's just your part of your daily brew, and you don't do espresso, you don't even look like you're planning to do espresso in the future. The DM47 with the Bean Seeker, not only are they the DM47 is such a small footprint that together, I mean, they make really good cups of coffee at like a very, very small price to space on your countertop.
yeah, for sure. I mean, just side by side, it doesn't take up much room.
Can you put the DM47 right next to the Bean Seeker
Yeah,
just so you can see that kind of small footprinted space?
the switch.
And it's also nice because the DM47 comes with that really big catch cup to where if you want to do a bigger brew, you don't have to worry about overfilling that cup because that's quite a bit of grams that go into that cup before you overflow it.
Yeah, a lot of people, I mean, with the DF64, they want to do like their big old 12 cup, big old giant coffee pot that's like, well, you're probably going to have to do a couple, probably like two grindings with like something like a DF64, where this, you're going to be able to do quite a bit more. Like overall, We're at 10 inches with a space between them. So, I mean, it takes up no room.
I mean, what does the DF83 take up alone? I mean, that's probably a good 6 inches.
DF83,
Just for like a size comparison with one of our bigger grinders.
yeah, it's 6 inches.
Yeah, so I mean, you're with the DF83, you're more than halfway, and you have two products that can make a really nice cold drip coffee in the morning. So it's very flexible, and being able to have that DM47 if you're on the road, instead of having a hand grinder and you still want a small footprinted machine, it's super easy to travel with and just to bring with you. And it's got that car adapter. So not that everyone's going to use that car adapter, but it is nice that you have the option to do that, because not everybody has a three-prong outlet in their vehicle.
Yeah, for sure. That's been pretty unique. I know a lot of people go camping. I mean, it'd be pretty legit camp grinder if you wanted to do something like that. And it does pack nice and small.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem like there's any more questions. Like I
Okay.
said, any questions that you guys have after this video is posted, we'll get to and we'll answer them. If you are interested in the Bean Seeker, make sure to go check us out. Be an early bird supporter of us on Kickstarter. There are a couple early bird specials available still. I would get it while they are there. Kickstarter ends probably 20 something days.
Yeah, we're probably about 20 days left. And just to like kind of coattail on that, we are offering bundles. So I know we're about out of like the better bundle or just like the better Bean Seeker standalone price. But if you wanted to bundle these two together, we actually have some bundle prices on there where you're going to get the Bean Seeker at a reduced rate. And you're going to get one of these grinders at a reduced rate. So we actually have the DM47, the SD40, which I don't have in front of us, and we actually have the DF64 Gen 2. So you essentially get this for $350 and that for $350. It's a pretty dang good deal. Even if you're just trying to get like the DF64 and you're wanting to try the Bean Seeker, I think it's a pretty good deal for that extra $350 to get the Bean Seeker as well. This is pretty high quality. I mean, it's a premium product. It's not some flimsy metal. So I think once more people start getting them, maybe people start understanding that it is a premium product. It's not like some cheap product. It's hard for us to. I mean, we're the ones selling them, so it's kind of hard for maybe certain people to fully understand. Like, is it really that nice, or is it really that nice? So I think as just the general public starts picking up the Bean Seeker and starts loving it, just keep an
Yeah.
eye out. You're going to see a lot of this in the future. I mean, it's the new thing. It's going to be the new trend in the U.S. It's already huge in China. It's already huge in Japan. It's getting
Yeah.
kind of big in India. It's going to be huge in the U.S. So
And just piggybacking off what you said, I mean, once people start getting them in their houses, people start leaving reviews on them and actually giving, they're just saying their own profiles that they use, their own recipes they use, and their own opinions on the final cup, and just kind of correlating them to what we believe that we've been tasting. I think that it's going to get people pretty excited here in the future. So.
I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. But yeah, for sure, make sure to check out those deals. At the end of the Kickstarter, we'll have them on Espresso Outlet. So if you don't get one now, you can get one later. It's not a big deal. Definitely check out the Gen 2. We've done a lot of videos on the Gen 2. It's actually kind of turned into my go-to grinder, and I have a lot of nice grinders. I love it. I love this grinder. I can't stop using it. I thought the DF64B was awesome, which it is. But this Gen 2, I mean, it's $200 less, and I just can't stop using it. I love it. This DM47 is definitely an interesting grinder because it is so small. It's DC. It's very low RPM with the conical, and that's very desirable. It's like 130 RPMs, and it's a steal for what you're getting. I mean, you're getting just a pretty ridiculous good conical grinder for I don't know what they cost. It's on our website. It is more than like the SD40, but the burrs in it are very premium. I'd open it up. It'd take a minute, but the burrs are just very top quality burrs, and it's very easy to use. It's fairly quiet. It's just a different grinder. It's very different.
Yep.
Very good companion grinder.
Yeah, so we appreciate everybody who tuned in live. We appreciate everybody who's watching this after the fact. Yeah, this is the BEANSEEKER. It's available, and if you guys have any questions, leave it down below. And thank you, Barrett, so much for tuning in and joining us and giving some of your live show of how it's working and your tasting experience. So
Yeah, man. Thanks for putting it together. And thanks for everyone that's watching it now or will watch it. Appreciate you.
And we hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Catch y'all later.
All right.